Welcome to the Everything Works Out for Us podcast. My name is Marina, and I'm so happy that you're here to join me on this journey of embracing a growth mindset that's grounded in gratitude and self-awareness. I'm an REBT mindset life coach, actor, singer, content creator, and the bigger sister that you always wanted. And I'm ready to start turning our mental and emotional roadblocks into road maps. In each episode, I holistically utilize psychology, spirituality, and my own personal experiences to strive to empower you to step into your power and deeply connect to both your inner knowing and the world around you. Let's grow together. Hi, my beautiful listeners, and welcome back to the pod. If you are still with me, which, you clearly are because you're listening to this, thank you. It has been a while. I've been going through a lot of change in my life. What else is new? And it's all been good change, but it is seeming like my body was not built for change. Full disclosure, I just haven't been doing well. Not doing my best. Not doing great. My mental health has been all over the place, and my physical health drastically declined over the past 2 months. And I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm finally putting myself back together again. And with that, putting the pod back together. As I've always preached, perfection doesn't exist. So welcome to this imperfect episode as I get back into the swing of things. And this week I want to chat mainly about nervous system regulation, as that has been the main focus in my life these past 2 months as I'm trying to restore myself to joy, or honestly just restore my health and restore myself to homeostasis. The bar is on the floor, right? No. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So let's start with our nervous systems. The automatic nervous system is divided into two parts, parasympathetic and sympathetic. And the sympathetic nervous system regulates our fight or flight response, and parasympathetic regulates our rest and digest response. So when our nervous system is regulated, it responds appropriately to events in our lives, and our fight or flight is activated when something puts us in danger. But our rest and digest should be our homeostasis, and that is what we should return to. However, when our nervous system is dysregulated, we begin to live in a constant state of fight or flight. Our body gets confused and gets stuck in a stress response, even when the threat has passed. So we still have physiological and biochemical manifestations of said threat. And this happens even if we are physically safe. Our system is stuck in the stress and it doesn't know that we're safe. So what causes nervous system dysregulation? Lots of things, so bear with me with this list. But nervous system dysregulation can come from getting stuck in a threat response from the past that didn't complete its full cycle, causing thoughts, feelings, and responses as if we were still living in that traumatic moment. Psychological trauma can cause it, chronic stress, asterisk for me, substance abuse, difficult economic or environmental circumstances that you're living through, big life changes, chronic disease, or even things like mold or toxicity in your environment. So along with this, what are the symptoms? What are the manifestations of this dysregulated nervous system? There's a lot, but it can be things like chronic anxiety, depression, being irritable or hyperreactive, being unable to regulate your mood, chronic pain or illness. And under this umbrella, I want to talk about chronic inflammation. And so this includes gut issues, IBS, rashes, and food sensitivities. And here we are, just a few minutes in, but here's the point of the episode where I get a little bit personal, TMI. So, never in my life have I experienced the type of painful, nonstop bloating that I have been dealing with the past few months. I truly could not make sense of it. I work out, I eat a balanced and healthy plant-based diet, and I wasn't introducing anything new into my diet. I sleep pretty well, I stay hydrated, I meditate every day. So I was like, what is going on? It was like I was pregnant. My clothes stopped fitting me. I was in such extreme pain and discomfort. I would wake up bloated. I would go to sleep bloated. It would ebb and flow throughout the day, but it never really got better. It would get worse with food. It's very interesting to be hungry and bloatedly full at the same time. Anyway, the external things in my life were changing a lot, even though my habits weren't necessarily changing. So the external things that were changing were I got a new job I got a promotion in my job, which, I ended up taking on a lot more responsibility than I was used to before. I moved into a new apartment. Again, really exciting, but moving can be a big stressor on the body. I had to take a pause in therapy due to an insurance shift, so that was a change. And then at the end of the day, I'm still processing a breakup and healing these deep-rooted attachment wounds that I have discovered that I have. And I also had a birthday. And everything post-college, or ever since post-college, I've never been great with birthdays for a lot of reasons. The pressure that I'm getting older and I should have figured out my life by now, and there's a lot of attention, and I'm an introvert, so it kind of makes me uncomfortable, even though it's good attention. And there's memories I have tied to my past birthdays, both good and bad, and just the inherent fear of the future. So all of this shot my cortisol through the roof, clearly. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone. So going back to nervous system regulation, when you're regulated and producing normal amounts of cortisol, the stress hormone manages how your body uses carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It manages inflammation, regulates your blood pressure, controls your sleep cycle, and boosts your energy in stressful situations so you can handle the situation and then return back to normal after. But when you experience chronic stress and your body gets stuck in dysregulation, cortisol can alter your digestive, immune, and reproductive systems, among other things. Now, I can only speak for myself because I'm a woman, but ladies, I'm sure you have experienced your period being affected by stress and cortisol. Well, I guess I'm not sure, but it is fairly common, I think. And this has always been the case for me. I lost my period during this time of stress in my life, which was a huge red flag for me, but other women can experience spotting or getting extra periods. We're blessed. Amazing. Extra periods, just what we need when we're stressed. Not to mention a hormonal acne, but basically when your body is stuck in consistent fight or flight, it has to prioritize its systems, and your reproductive system no longer is a priority if you're in danger, right? If you are being chased by a lion, your body's like, what's the first thing to go? Your reproductive system. We don't need to focus on this right now. We need to focus on surviving and not dying. So your digestion and metabolism included in this, no longer a priority if you are in imminent danger. And this was all becoming clearer to me that this is what I have been experiencing. However, it's an incredibly frustrating thing to try to decrease your stress about the stress that your body is under. It snowballs and it spirals so quickly, right? I know that stress is causing my stomach to balloon up, but now I'm in pain and I'm stressed about that pain and I'm stressed about not having my period. And the next thing you know, I've doubled, tripled, quadrupled the stress with all the emotion that I'm tying to it too. All right, transitioning a little bit, something that I wanted to touch upon as well in this episode is the all too common IBS. I'm sure that we have heard the joke, hot girls have tummy issues, but really it's girls with anxiety have tummy issues. And obviously we're hot too. But anyway, irritable bowel syndrome is basically, from my understanding, the diagnosis that you get from a doctor when they've ruled everything else out and they don't really know why you're having bloating, cramping, diarrhea, constipation, etc. There's also no cure for IBS either. There's just ways and suggestions on how you can manage it. But the crazy thing to me, just from doing super basic research on it, lots of sources direct you immediately to food, which I guess, that makes sense from an outside perspective. Tummy, food, all right, correlation, we see it. But as someone who already eats pretty healthy already, I didn't introduce anything new or crazy to my diet. For me to all of a sudden break my back figuring out if I'm intolerant to a bunch of random foods that I never have been intolerant to before, it didn't make sense. I know the low FODMAP diet is a thing that a lot of doctors prescribe. A low FODMAP diet includes foods that are supposed to be easier on your stomach and digestion and whatnot. But again, something deeper is going on for me to randomly be intolerant to onions and garlic. And cutting them out, even if that did work, would just be a Band-Aid. And might I add, didn't work. Anyway, I tried. But yeah, a lot of people with IBS tend to be triggered by certain foods, but only sometimes. And if you had a true, genuine food intolerance or allergy, it wouldn't just be sometimes, right? If you're celiac, you are going to have a severe reaction every time you eat gluten. But I know a lot of people who eat a certain food and sometimes they're really triggered by it and other times they're totally fine. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. That cannot just be about the food. You're either allergic or you're not. You're either intolerant or you're not. How are you intolerant to garlic sometimes? I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor. Maybe you can call me ignorant. This is more of a spiritual podcast. I'm not necessarily qualified to do or say anything, but this is just coming from my experience. So after further digging, I personally believe that US Americans are unable to do so because some people in this world don't have maps. I told you this episode was gonna go off the rails. If you guys don't know the Miss America speech, please look it up. Anyway, I believe that IBS is hugely an anxiety disorder for a lot of people. Not for everybody, but for a lot of people. So let's chat about the gut-brain axis. Our thoughts, feelings, and environment lead to a release of chemicals in our bodies. So with IBS and anxiety, the theory is that when you feel anxious, your body releases stress-related chemicals to your gut. And the result is abdominal pain, a change in your gut bacteria, and abnormal bowel movements. There are other factors outside of stress and anxiety that can cause IBS, right? Again, so this is not a hard and fast rule or diagnosis for everyone, but even just this realization for me led to a bit more clarity on how I want to try and heal. And yes, I do want to limit my processed and fried foods and added sugars and alcohol intake. I already avoid dairy and meat, but I I genuinely don't believe that this is an issue of avoiding quote unquote high FODMAP foods like garlic or broccoli for me. The issue mainly needs to be addressed through lowering my stress and cortisol. I really think that the cortisol kind of destroyed my gut microbiome, and my body decided to prioritize elsewhere outside of my digestive system. I have been wanting to enter a soft girl era lately, and I think that these health issues is the final push for me. And I know I do have quite a few male listeners, so I don't want to scare you all away if I haven't already with all this period talk. But there's a lot of benefit from people of any gender stepping into more of a feminine energy. And I'm planning on making a full episode about this next week, actually, but our society is very rooted in masculine or yang energy. Yin and yang and feminine and masculine are synonyms. Yin and yang are the Chinese philosophy terms for this. It doesn't have anything to do with gender. It's just about the opposing qualities that are tied to each energy. So anyway, in our society, we very much glorify the yang, the doing energy, the pushing, the go-getting, the no sleeping, the grinding, the ambition to burnout. And I don't want to live that way anymore. I want to be soft. I want to take aligned action, but let things flow to me as they're supposed to. I want to prioritize rest more than I ever have. I want to prioritize listening to my body and intuition as opposed to forcing what I think I want or go getting desperately. I want to relax and meditate and indulge in pleasure, all of which this yang energy inhibits and shames sometimes. But anyway, before I get too off topic, let's get back on track with high cortisol levels and regulating our nervous system. If you're experiencing any of these systems of dysregulation, I'm sure you're wondering how to fix it. So now I'm going to share a little bit of advice, let you know what has worked for me personally. And I do want to add, your nervous system doesn't get dysregulated overnight, so unfortunately, you will not be able to regulate it overnight either. On top of all the work I'm doing to regulate my nervous system, I do have to constantly forgive myself for the frustration I feel when I get impatient, when I feel like it's not working all the way at least. I know it may sound silly, but please be gentle with your body. Your body is truly doing the best it can. Your body is trying to keep you safe and protect you. If you're dysregulated, your body genuinely thinks that you're in danger. And so when I get frustrated, I speak to my body as if it were my little me. And this term was coined by the book Attached, which great book for anyone who thinks they may be or knows that they are anxiously attached or that they have an anxious attachment system. I can chat more about that later, but the whole concept of little me or the child version that still lives in you really speaks to me. And the child version of me, who is me, she lives in me, she's just scared and she wants to be protected. And I promise her that everything is going to be okay. And I constantly remind her that she is safe and that it's okay that she feels scared, but we are not in danger and we can be calm together. Again, for me, speaking to this younger version of myself is way easier than speaking to the current version of me, but whatever works for you. It's just easier for me to be more empathetic towards a child. Maybe it's inherent in our nature to protect and nurture children because they're so innocent, but it's a lot harder to give adult me the same grace and compassion. But tricked your body. We're actually the same person. So yeah, whatever works for you. Self-love is self-love. All right, so let's move on to what has been working for me. And at this point, compared to where I was physically and mentally, I don't know, even 3 weeks ago, I'm significantly better. I'm so immensely grateful. I know that you can relate, even when you come out of a long period of sickness and finally, like, your nose is stuffy and whatever, and then all of a sudden you can breathe again. That's how I'm feeling, and not taking it for granted. I still have healing to do physically and mentally, obviously always, mainly physically I'm talking about, but yes, I am feeling better, so I can say that what I have been doing has been working. Thank God. So I will share what I've been doing in case you're also feeling lost and desperate and you would try anything just to feel better, like I was and honestly still am. Would definitely take anyone's advice or tips. But I'll start off by saying I jumped on the supplement train because that's what I thought I should be doing. And again, I'm not a doctor, wasn't prescribed anything. I can't say if it's one supplement or the other that's been making me feel better. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to confidently recommend any of these supplements as a cure or even truly give them credit for making me feel better. But I have been taking them consistently, so they could be a part of it. I truly think the physical work, namely EFT tapping, is really what has helped me. And I'm going to discuss that a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. But I didn't want to not include the supplements that I've been taking in the episode because, again, it could be a combination of all the things that I'm doing. And I really did want to stay away from the doctor. I have my own personal thoughts and feelings about America's healthcare system and am distrustful of a lot of our healthcare system. So to me, going to the doctor is always an absolute last resort, and thankfully I did not get to that point. And I didn't want to be put on a prescription without trying holistic things first. All right, so without further ado, let me tell you the supplements that I have been taking. So for the past couple of months, I started taking a greens powder with probiotics in it, particularly the Amazing Grass one. That's the brand because it got good reviews. I've used that brand before. It's affordable and it's not Bloom. Anything that's heavily promoted by influencers, I try to stay away from. Sorry, guys. Not to say that those products are bad, but I know a lot of people are promoting them for money, and therefore I'm just less likely to believe that they work. And it's also more expensive anyway. It's not going to hurt you, but whatever. This is just what I did. So the Amazing Grass one is very clean. Does taste a little like grass, but nothing nausea inducing or anything. If you like matcha, you'll probably like it. I don't know. You don't drink it for the taste, right? I've also been drinking apple cider vinegar in water in the morning before breakfast. Definitely not my favorite part of this routine. That shit's pretty gross, but it is supposed to aid in digestion. So again, doing everything. I'm no longer drinking coffee on an empty stomach. I know, caffeine is proven to spike your cortisol, so I really have cut back on coffee in general because I don't really need it. When I'm getting enough sleep, I really don't need coffee. I just like a little treat in the morning, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm drinking a few ounces of pure aloe vera juice, the raw kind that tastes a little sour, I guess. It's from Trader Joe's, but aloe vera juice is also said just to be super hydrating. I think it has electrolytes in it, natural electrolytes, and it's supposed to be really good for your skin on top of your digestion. And I will say, my skin has been looking pretty good, so can't complain. Moving on to actual supplement pills. I started taking this Bye Bye Bloat pill, it's called, and genuinely, it has done nothing for me. So, sorry. It's just a bunch of herbs in a capsule, and I have noticed zero difference while taking it regularly, like they recommend on the website and the bottle. Never made a single difference. You're supposed to take it either before or after a meal. Did not help for me at all, just being honest. I do take a daily probiotic, which is a good habit to get in just in general with your gut microbiome, and it's really good for your immune system. It helps with candida overgrowth, so in women it can help with preventing yeast infections. Incredible. Thank you, men, if you are still listening. And ladies, don't we all love talking about yeast infections? Wow, this episode, great comeback. I'm also taking a magnesium glycinate supplement I paired with vitamin D3, which is a supplement meant to help with anxiety and sleep, but I guess they have to be paired together to be activated. Again, not a doctor. This is just based off research I've done. You're also not supposed to take it with your daily vitamin because it cancels out zinc and iron or something. I don't know. You guys, this stuff is so complicated for no reason. And why are there like 4 different types of magnesium? There's glycinate, which I guess helps with anxiety. And then there's also citrate, which is more of a laxative, maybe. So maybe I should have been taking that one. And then there's a few other ones. So look at what you're buying before you buy it and do research on that. Oh my gosh, it's exhausting. I'm also taking a supplement just called Calm. I don't know. My mom gave me that one, so I said, okay, sure, I'll take it. It's just a bunch of herbs as well. A lot of B vitamins. Oh, tea with lemon and ginger. Nice and soothing. Just good to drink overall. And then I'm also taking this like witch's potion from my friend's mom. It's this dropper with what's called Lycopodium clavatum and arsenicum album, and you're supposed to put it under your tongue twice a day. Literally, you guys, when I tell you I was so desperate to get back to normal, I am not kidding. So, I take all of these supplements now. Take them as you will, but I should have just started with this. EFT tapping. EFT tapping is what I genuinely think has made the biggest difference for me. EFT tapping is an alternative acupressure therapy treatment used to restore balance to your disrupted energy. You basically tap your fingers on certain points of your body while being mindful, breathing, and repeating affirmations, and it's scientifically proven to calm your nervous system. And again, I really just want to emphasize this because I think it's genuinely what has made the biggest improvement in my body and in my mental health. But with my mental health, it's made me purge a lot of shit as well, which is super interesting. Yeah, but going back, I think the gut issues stem from nervous system dysregulation, not from a random food intolerance or just normal bloating as a woman or whatever. In those regular circumstances, I'm sure supplements like Bye Bye Bloat maybe would help, but I needed more than just a Band-Aid, which is why that wasn't even working. It's a far deeper issue going on, and my body is screaming at me, thinking that I'm in danger, and now it's my job to do what I can to tell her, no, we're safe. Oh, there's a siren. Okay, hold please. All right, it's done. We are safe. We are not in danger. And this tapping is the best way and most successful way I have found to communicate that to my body. Now, let's get a little sciencey again. Research suggests that there is a physiological response to the stimulation of these acupoints that you tap on. They're not just random sites on the body. After examining acupoints under a microscope, scientists discovered that they contain a high density of nerve endings, nerve fibers that control heat and cold, and a high concentration of white blood cells. Other research found that stimulating acupoints produces a variety of brain chemicals, including endogenous opioids or pain-relieving chemicals, serotonin, which helps regulate sleep, mood, and memory, and gamma aminobutyric acid, which has a calming effect on the body. One of the first steps in tapping is to identify a feeling or a situation that's bothering you and creating a statement that acknowledges the feeling or problem, followed by a phrase of acceptance. For example, even though I'm anxious and in physical discomfort, I deeply and completely accept myself. This is known as a setup statement, and according to EFT International, it lays the groundwork for what's called the disconfirming experience. This means that it helps us see our issue for what it really is, as opposed to our emotional response to it. Encountering a negative thought with a positive affirmation also serves to neutralize it. When you calm your brain and body by working with the tapping, you may be more apt to accept these neutral statements as true. So in summary, neutralizing negative and anxious thoughts in combination with the tapping, the physical acupressure points in your body genuinely starts getting your body out of fight or flight. Like I keep mentioning, it takes our body a while to get in a state of constant dysregulation and chronic fight or flight, so it's going to take time and patience to get out of this state as well. And I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that is sick and tired of doing the work. I don't want to be on a healing journey anymore because it's hard and it's exhausting. And sometimes I just want to give up. I wish I were normal, but at the end of the day, this is my reality, and I have to choose to not be a victim. This is the very beginning of my EFT journey, and I am looking forward to working on it more with my therapist and seeing how I can incorporate it into a manifestation routine or technique as well, because I know that that is super common. But with the EFT specific affirmations, I think it's really important to note that a big portion of it is acceptance. I know I said that, but I want to reiterate it because I talk about affirmations a lot, maybe almost every episode, and they work. They are a big deal for me, but incorporating the acceptance part of the affirmation has been a game changer. Really recognizing and acknowledging that, no, I don't feel good right now, but, and then adding the positive affirmation on top of that, as opposed to just stating gratitude affirmations or affirmations that you kind of wish you felt about yourself, but you're not really there yet. It's been a game changer to say, even though I am feeling a lot of anxiety right now, I know that it's going to get better and I fully love myself. My body is really responding to that more positively than it has ever responded to other kinds of affirmations before. So take that as you will. I definitely intend on making more episodes about EFT tapping more in detail. Maybe I can even get a professional on the podcast to talk about it more, perhaps guide an EFT session if any of you are interested. So as I wrap up the episode, I just want to thank you again for sticking with me, and I want to remind you that you are not alone if you are struggling, or if you're anxious, if you're in pain, if you're dealing with chronic illness, pain, or mental health disorders. It's so cliche to say, but I genuinely mean it when I say I'm here for you. I am trying to figure out my purpose in this life as well as I'm redefining myself, and I really just want to help people. So if I know you in person or not, If you need my advice or if you need an ear to listen, reach out to me on Instagram at Marina_Magnelli. I'll be that person for you. I'd also love to hear your thoughts if you have any nervous system regulation techniques as well. This is the beginning for me, but I actually genuinely believe that this is one of the biggest pathways to fully healing, is to getting regulated, to recognizing when you're dysregulated, and to actively working towards regulating yourself. Your body will freaking thank you. Trust me. All right. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have a beautiful, calm, and peaceful rest of your week.